Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, the world's greatest redneck. This has been a very frustrating week. I lost the hard drive, crashed, so I got a new hard drive. That means all the software has to be reinstalled. And unfortunately, my video editor was one of those I had downloaded instead of ordering the disk. And it was an upgrade from the previous version, so I saved it on a different drive, so I still had it. I thought I'm all safe. I went to install it, and it looks on the hard drive, which is a brand new one, and it can't find the previous version, so it won't install. So I contact the maker of it. They send me another copy of what I've got, and of course it won't install because there's not a previous version. So today I should receive a version, the latest version of the lifetime license on a disc, so it won't happen again, at least not this particular problem. And have you ever sent an embarrassing email, or did you do it twice, two of them at the same time? Well, today is Sunday, it's supposed to be Steel Challenge Day, but it's canceled because it's raining like crazy out there. Well, the last time I checked, the weather was on the Weather Underground on Tuesday, I think it was, and they predicted Sunday PM thunderstorms. PM's after everybody goes home. We've had the Steel Challenge lots of times in the morning and went home and let it rain all afternoon. Well, it seems I wrote them a note and asked them why in the heck is it canceled, because I don't watch the news. I rarely ever watch the news, so probably the weatherman might have made a forecast, although the channel my wife watches hadn't been right since 1987, but there you go. And I got to feeling really nostalgic this week, so that today's video I'm going to review some of the projects that I've done before and show you which ones were my favorite projects, I guess, pretty close. And I didn't include the belt grinder build or the CNC table build because I felt like they were in a different class from these other projects. So let's just get on with it instead of talking about it. Well, I know that there's people that are worried about the beverage bug that's floating around in the air, and there are people who are pro-mask and anti-mask and all these things. And I know you're worried about, all the goings on, but I want to put your mind at ease so you can sleep good tonight. Don't worry about anything. Just remember, we've got the best politicians that money can buy. That stack of old hard drives is my job today. I'm not going to film it or anything, but I'm going to remove all the steel and whatever from them, and all the aluminum will go into my crucible to be included in future projects. And looks like there's a fair amount there. And I got to feeling kind of nostalgic about previous videos and such, and then I thought, well, I'll just show you some of the stuff that I did before. Okay? One of the things, Mr. Pete was casting lead flywheels for his steam engines, and he said, well, not anybody's going to do that. And I thought, well, by golly, I am. So I looked at his hand size and figured out how big he's making the engines, and so I made a mold to cast lead flywheels just like he was doing. This is my mold, and it's got the pins to locate it, so everything's always good. And you just pour the lead in the hole here, and I got this little pin here. Shove that in there, and that'll make the hole for your crankshaft go through, so that it's already started in the dead center. And then part of the job was this little jig right here that you put the flywheel on there, and then you can machine your lead flywheel with this. Now, I don't have any examples of the flywheels because I gave them all to some guy. I think he was in England. He needed some lead flywheels, so I sent him my whole collection, I think. Some that were machined and some that weren't. There may be some left, and I don't know it, but then again, I don't know it. All right, so then I moved on, and I made this cannon. That's a 1/2-inch bore, runs on black powder, got a fuse hole, and It works pretty good with a light charge. With a light charge of powder in it, I shot at this board with those 1/2-inch steel balls, and you can see that I had another board behind this or they would have gone right on through. So if you put a fairly heavy load in there, it'll throw them out there pretty good. But as sure as I did that, the do-all guy, the guy does all the welding, wears a cowboy hat. I can't remember his name now, but he built he got a $500 chunk of brass and built a 2-foot long cannon. So put this way out of style. And then later on, I got the idea to do a blow gun, a blow dart, with a laser sight. And you can see that laser dot on the wall there. And the laser really does, if you put it on the target, you can really get the darts right in there where you put it. I even chronographed these little darts. They were about 110 to 120 foot per second. So there you go. Of course, nobody watched most of these videos that I made. And this morning, was it this morning? Yeah, maybe. I was watching Mutual, Shark River Machine Shop or something like that. I always like to watch him. He's an interesting guy. Looks like a lot of fun. And he was making a shotgun shell. You use blank shotgun shells to warn you if somebody was, coming onto your property to be set off with a tripwire. And I had at one time been at the shooting range talking to a guy, and he was upset that there was live ammo laying out in the grass here and there. He said, they're going to run over the lawnmower and hurt somebody. And of course he didn't have any idea what the heck he was talking about, because even if it does set one off, it's just like a firecracker. It's not going to throw any lead anywhere. Not going to hurt anybody. And so to demonstrate that, I built this little guy right here. Now, I used the real thing, actual ammo in it, and when you pull the pin, the firing pin drops down and sets it off. And then I set it up in here, surrounded it with tactical ballistic styrofoam, and I pulled the pin here and boom, and it blew styrofoam all over the place. The brass split, and the bullet was laying about 3 feet out across the floor. No harm to anybody or anything. It didn't even hurt this guy. It hit it on the way down. And because when it's not confined in a gun barrel, it doesn't have any real power. It's, like I say, just like one of those big fireworks that you used to set off when you was a kid. I'm not going to shoot this one off. YouTube really hated it when I did this. They demonetized my video until people pretty much quit watching it, and then they decided it was okay. But as you can see, you pull the pin, firing pin goes down, and boom. Okay, it's not as pretty as the one Mutual built, and I didn't go to as much trouble because I'm just a lazy old redneck. But there you are. Nobody watched that either. In fact, it made me kind of envious. I looked at Mutual, 1,600 people had watched his video in one day. I did that 3 years ago and hadn't had 1,100 views on it yet. Makes you wonder if I'm in the right business, don't it? Tied for my #1 favorite thing to have made is this tailstock for my rotary table. I cast this from scrap aluminum I had laying around, and as with most cast things, I worried that it wasn't going to clean up, and it did. There was a little roughness up here, but I cut an inch past that and still had plenty of material. And there's another thing that the one thing that's tied with this is possibly my favorite project. With that is my favorite project is all of those gears that I made. I made that many gears for my Craftsman lathe so that I could use the quick change gearbox on the lathe. It's set up for inches, but if I put these in the right position on the end of the lathe, I can cut metric threads from, I think I started at 0.5 pitch up to 2.5 pitch. So there's These will cut plenty of different sizes of metric threads. So there you go, favorite projects. In the doing, I had to make a double bushing so that I could put a keyway on either end of these gears, because that's the way the Craftsman gears are made.